Jim Ashley,
Yes.
Mary Carpenter,
Yes.
Nadine Chris.
Yes.
Dan Weimer.
Yes.
It is determined there is a quorum.
Very good, very good. Is there any old business that we need to attend to?
Approval business? Yep.
Approval of the minutes?
I move to approve the minutes as written.
I'll second it.
Motion carried. Now, do we have any new business to attend to?
The bills.
Approval of the bills.
Have to vote for the minute.
Oh, sorry. We had a motion and a second?
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, all in favor, sorry.
sorry.
I knew you'd all gonna agree.
Yep, yep.
Now, we'll check out the bills. Is there any questions on any of the,
Steve's in at $280. What was it for?
Fire calls.
Mm-hmm. The tire shed, the used tire, what?
Bucket truck, Mitch?
James Edwards, $101.
Fire calls.
We had a lot of phone calls.
Well, they pay him quarterly.
Oh,
Yeah.
this guy here, he makes quite a few calls.
He does, yeah.
The Ozark Family YMCA, was they gonna give us a statement or something, what they was charging us? You know, we talked about that.
Sam's talked to.
I think that essentially, I was in on that too, they showed their CEO, Chad, whatever, which had Watson, they escrowed all, I mean, they've been keeping the funds segmented. That was initially my question, they're wondering. And they've shown that they've kept that stuff.
They
The
showing
money
us-
segmented.
Who'd they short to?
Me,
You?
Mhm.
Why just you?
because I went over there to look at it.
Oh.
Went out there
Oh,
now.
shouldn't
And it was
Leslie,
50 and it was
shouldn't
my-
Leslie have a copy of it? Shouldn't they bring her a copy?
Well, it was my question at the meeting. I'm the one who was questioning it.
Right.
So I went over and looked, and they showed me the P&Ls, which I thought was pretty nice of them to do. So that was,
But you
Yeah.
think they should bring Leslie a copy?
I have some old financials.
I think they do provide.
Yeah, but whenever they renew their contract every July, then
Yeah.
we do get a
They're
copy
coming
of
in for
financials.
renewal.
They have come here and talked about it
Yeah.
before.
They've got to produce those.
So I think we do have financials from
Yeah.
last June or July.
So they just have the financial statements once a year, so they just say,
So we can ask them to get more. Sam could talk to them, or I can.
this ATFX on the workers, is that something new? I hadn't noticed that. Do the workers pay that, or what is that?
On which employee is it?
Oh, that's Aflax.
Okay.
No,
Yeah.
no, that's not Aflac. Well, there's two that's not Aflac.
There's the Aflac tax and Aflac pre-tax.
This is
They can
Apple's tax.
cafeteria.
Yeah.
So do they pay that themselves?
Yes, that's 100% employee paid.
And what is this, LNTX, Liberty, whatever?
Oh, that's employee paid 100%.
Health insurance, or life
Oh.
insurance.
So who pays that?
Employee does.
What about the professional services?
Is it,
Is that,
is
Paul?
it, no,
From
is it,
4:30 to 3:30, 4:30, 3:31 to 4:30?
that's pay, is it for Toth?
Huh?
Is it for Toth and Associates?
It doesn't say. Or maybe that's it up here, Toten Engineering Study, 1,000, and then down below it, it says professional
that's the,
services. So,
wastewater.
same company?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay,
wastewater and
the
water.
total, right here. Thank you.
And dental insurance, does the employees pay that? I just noticed a couple of them's got dental insurance.
That where it says dental, that's where the employees have their spouses on the plan, and it's 100% paid by the employee.
I hadn't noticed that before.
There's just a few of us that
Yeah.
have our spouses.
And now, did they change that when they take vacation, they just take a day at a time, or how's that?
It's never,
I seen here's one that took a one-day vacation.
who was it?
That was, Toby. Vacation, I guess one day.
probably 1 hour.
Or it would, sure it
Oh.
would be 1 hour.
Oh,
On page 5,
Oh, he took 5 hours. So if you go to the first, it says 5 hours of vacation. So he took half a day.
you can take half a day vacation.
You can take, personnel policy right now says you can take it 1 hour at a time.
And on this side, Yates, nothing comes, no reductions comes out of his check. What's,
He should have,
That's the
Just
beauty
like-
of being young.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
what,
Well, he's got his federal
Well, he's
social
got
security
it.
coming out.
Does he not have,
but he don't have anything.
One thing, he does have medical insurance, it shows.
is that, okay,
Well, yeah.
that's the only thing, then he's not elected to do anything else.
You don't need to act like you get to be our age.
There you go.
That's right. That's right.
Get over it.
I just have the duck.
Yeah.
I'm roasting.
And on page 1, where it says, electric, is that overtime, is that like 49 hours?
I looked at that, I can make heads or tails out of it.
Well, is it, which payroll is
On
it?
page 1, it's on like the library, cemetery, parks, electric, water. Page 1.
Cost center report,
Okay. That's one.
Is it regular hours, 232?
It says like in the overtime column, 49.08.
What page, where are you at?
cost center report,
Next
here.
towards the back.
Did you look
Now,
those
on,
up first?
huh?
Did you look that off? Another page? Or is it a singular page?
I see the police. can do that now.
There it is. Let's see, I had a question mark there.
So it was on the ones that I emailed you guys first?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's gonna be,
Find it, Jim?
Haven't yet.
Is
Right
it right
here,
there?
look,
Is it right there?
it'd be like,
What pages from the back are you
It's
no,
not a
mine is- the
package,
numbers
not-
that
this is
don't,
something
they're not in
previously
sync.
Okay.
does it say 4,
No,
8
we
to
got
4?
this today.
I think that looks like it.
And where, which, in the electric?
Well, here,
I don't have it.
I don't know that either.
Just not on
Library, cemetery, parks, electric, cost center report.
See, like that, Jim.
And which
I don't, not my
I
question.
don't have that.
Hey, these.
Nadine's.
One thing I have is something stable to get. So what do you?
Jim's got it. What?
What's your question on it?
Are there that much overtime? Is that overtime?
I don't see that number. I'll have to come look.
It's showing Leslie 49 hours, it looks like.
That's amount. So it's-
Okay.
it's got 2 hours overtime, and the amount for overtime is $49.08.
Then over here, what's that, sick and
Good grief, that's a ridiculously low amount for overtime this
Yeah.
pay period. That's
Mhm.
outstanding. We only got
Let me
$200
see what that
overtime.
2
Yeah.
total?
So
Oh,
see
yeah.
this.
Yeah, all right, that's great. I've never seen it that good.
So electric.
That was 49
there was,
hours. Yeah.
So it's
15
broken down by
Yeah,
department.
15.25 hours in the electric department was taken for sick leave, which was a total of $271.15.
Then what's this for the month or?
No,
That's it.
no, that is for the pay period. So, it's for
Right.
2 weeks. So that's overtime dollars, $49.08. So
Okay,
it just-
see how it came across. First page.
So, does that make sense?
So in essence,
Well,
you've
yeah.
eliminated overtime almost.
What's this paper
Trying
here?
their best to do that.
Yeah.
Work it, but they absolutely have to.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's gonna be total payroll based upon those hours, they're segmented.
I moved to pay the bills.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Say aye.
Right.
Mary?
I seconded it.
Okay, okay.
Close enough, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Citizens' comments. Everybody want to come up and talk?
Yes, sir.
Before the election, you brought up the city needed to clean out the culverts,
Sure did.
anything been done?
No,
You know why?
no.
Does anybody know why?
We have, I don't know why there hadn't been any culverts cleaned out.
Francis Street, the whole ditch, not the culvert, the clean the culverts on Division, here in Anderson. The one that runs behind, between Hobbit and I think it's Davis, Smith, Francis. And then the whole street.
Mitchell, can we clean some culverts?
I thought the truck was over the streets.
Okay,
Ditches over them all.
yeah.
Well, you took it away from Chuck?
No, I'm just.
No, Mitch is the supervisor.
Mitch is the supervisor over all of it.
That's like,
Chuck's no longer eight in the field, you know,
What now?
Chuck's in the office.
What do you mean in the office?
Development Resource Manager.
I think Chuck wears a lot of hats actually, in his development resource manager title, as I understand it. I think you're in the field and in the office both, are you not, Chuck?
So Chuck's not over the streets anymore? Huh?
Well, I
What was the
understand.
question?
Is Chuck not over the streets anymore?
Chuck is in the office now, he works directly for me. He has responsibility of the streets, yes ma'am, but he also has other responsibilities now. Mitch is the supervisor over everybody. So, I mean, Chuck has responsibilities in the street and, you know, and he takes care of those.
He's mainly working in the office though.
Nadine, you approved that, you guys approved that.
Well, I
You
guess I
don't know
maybe didn't
that?
realize that.
Ma'am?
Maybe I didn't realize that.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't know. Did you realize that?
No,
Huh?
not until now.
Well, maybe we can set one day aside and clean tin horns out. Do we have some, part-time guys that do lawn mowing?
We have a part-time guy that does lawn mowing, and that we just hired.
How many part-time people do we have?
Just one right now.
How many do we usually have?
We don't usually have any. We just, council approves the hiring some people to mow. And, so that's what we've done. I've hired one so far.
Do we think we ought to hire?
No,
Another
no,
one?
no. No, I don't.
Just asking.
I think
Why
that.
can't our,
that-
our guys can clean out the culverts?
Yeah, I think that it.
They
that
always have.
David's brought the item up for, he's mentioned it, we're aware of it, and I would assume it's going to be addressed.
Yes, it will be. Yeah,
Simple as that.
I would think so, yeah.
But to me, before course, someone has to come to the meetings and ask. You know, we might should have a follow-up when someone, you know, suggests we need them cleaned out. Maybe we just need a little bit of follow-up on it.
Okay. I'll be glad to do
Yeah,
that.
I think you would, yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a question while nobody else is talking. The guys picked up limbs today.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, across the street from us, there's a big stack of limbs, and they're stacked right behind the fire hydrant.
Okay.
They didn't get picked up. Was it because they were not closer to the curb, or?
They gotta be right on the curb.
So it was behind, I'll go tell him.
Whose house is that?
You know where Patsy lived,
Yeah,
right next door there.
okay, all right. I
See,
don't
there's
know him.
Carolyn Cantrell
Yeah,
and Patsy.
I
I don't know his
him.
name. I know his mom, but
Yep,
I don't know his name.
You don't keep them going on the curb, you keep going for the back.
Yeah, well, I know why they're stacked there. He has a kid that mows his lawn, and he started stacking them there. So, you know, that's why.
so then if we get those cleaned out,
You still got, there's another one on Francis, that's 6. It's at the tin horn.
mhm,
The water was having to run uphill from it, to the next tin horn. This not being cleaned out.
okay,
We did clean out several of them, used dip machines, will now, so those are the ones that people call in specifically ask to be cleaned out.
It's not just culverts, it's the ditch there on Division, lots of water going out in the field.
mhm.
And it's just full of trash, grass.
You know, people just dump trash everywhere.
Yep.
Now, there's
Is there any more comments that need to be addressed? Well, Mitch, it looks like you're up.
Yes, I know.
Supervisor's report.
It's awful.
The four electric companies started changing out them poles on, feeding them. Been doing locates and working on, the 3 phase out there, about to get it done. Dumping bud, put in some more services. We put service up on Cargill and, David Charter, redid one over here, Clint Owens with it. And trees, red meters, and on David Raines, building workbench, and working on the shelves for building out there.
Is that all the poles they're gonna do, is the ones I see on Center Street, or?
They're gonna be all the way from the south to the old HDW building. I think there's 22 poles.
Mhm.
Very good.
They're doing a good job cleaning that building up.
Any questions from Mitch?
Did you get done with Mr. Dent's electric?
Probably done tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah.
Any more questions?
For who, for?
For Mitch,
Do you know right off how much money was spent on redoing that old city hall to put in that beauty shop?
Yeah, I'd like to know that.
We figured that.
I'd like to know
We
that.
had a request from the state auditor to figure that.
yeah.
And it
And how much was it?
Yeah.
It was, whatever, was it in the paper, that amount in the paper?
Uh-uh.
No, it was like, I can't remember now.
I've heard
3 or 4
35.
Yeah, yep, that's it.
$3,500.
Who authorized that spending?
It wasn't me.
Did you?
No.
Sam?
Nope.
Did you have to read, huh?
We just told all there to go do it.
Yep,
Yeah.
What, you have to rewire it all, or what?
No, we separated the garage from,
Did you do any
To make it
custom
two-
work
to
that
make it
custom
two
catered to the
businesses.
client?
well, we took up that old carpet, scraped the wood off the floor, and
What did Sonny do?
He put in a water line and,
Sink?
put in sink meals through the wall.
How many?
I think it was just 3, I think, I'm not sure.
My point is if I had a business that sold trinkets, I don't need 3 sinks. I need 1 sink. So my question was, we custom fit that building for the tenant. We put in 3 sinks, no other business put in
Yes.
3 sinks.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't
Well, I'm in the rental business, I would never custom fit one of my homes for a renter. That's my point. And it really ticks me off that this was unauthorized spending and unauthorized orders given to you, where it was clearly stated in a meeting here, closed session, all of us present, that no one was to give city employees orders other than Sam. That's on you, Mitchell. I understand you're following edicts from the mayor. But gazing forward, you know, this is what happens when you're taking orders from someone that, to my knowledge, wasn't authorized to give the orders.
You're absolutely right, but if I had been working for somebody, for a city and the mayor told me to
Oh,
do something, I'd go do it.
I'm telling
Exactly.
Mitchell.
Yeah,
I would have done just what he did.
Yeah, I would have
But-
absolutely
but-
went and done it.
Yeah, looking forward, I mean, this is why that can't happen. We spent $3,500 of the people's money custom fitting a building that we're drawing $300 a month on a 1-year lease. We don't even cover, we're essentially breaking even on a 1-year lease just to refit the building for a tenant.
Wasn't
Insanity.
there something said, though, that she might look at purchasing the building at some time?
I would never authorize that, the
I
purchase of
said,
it.
wasn't
Yeah.
there something mentioned about it?
He said that, but he
Not
never
you.
got any kind of a thumbs up from us, not you. The previous mayor said, when I got the first email from him, he said, she's looking to buy, she's looking to rent to buy, and I said, over my dead body, we're not selling city assets that way.
I was called and asked if it would be all right if we rented that building. I said,
And
if you
so
can rent
was
it,
I.
rent it,
Yeah,
So was I.
period.
yeah, you got it.
But there wasn't anything said about spending money on it.
No, there was nothing
Nothing.
said to me about spending any money on it either. I mean, in the rentals, I mean, again, I have business properties I rent. If they want to refit my building I'm renting them, they get to do that. They want to put in an ice cream counter, I'm not putting in an ice cream counter for a renter. And we've essentially done that, which is really a problem. Just for future reference. I mean, we need to be careful about that kind of stuff happening.
But, if you're gonna rent them 2 buildings separate, the garage from the other, I mean, in the way it needs to be.
With 3 sinks? With
Well,
3
she's a
sinks?
beautician.
No,
She
the other
just-
part, the garage.
Well, then she
where-
could have
The
paid for the
garage.
2
We're right,
extra
we're
sinks.
right.
I mean,
But,
for
you know,
the
It's a
garage
more than once
is,
it's done.
I don't know what his name is. for the-
Yeah, I agree, Mary.
Thompson and steel.
Right.
I mean, it was all 1 meter at one
Right.
time, and then, now it's separated, so if they wanna rent the garage to somebody else,
Yeah,
it'd be on his own meter count, so.
that's good.
Wasn't the man that was working with Jason in there, didn't he want that, or what happened to that
Yeah.
deal?
You know, and it got leased to him, and now he's gone.
Now, it's-
Where'd he go?
I don't have any idea.
Yeah.
Huh,
Does he owe us money?
of
Yeah.
course.
Uh-huh.
Figure.
So,
That's why I hate the rental business. I've seen so many people get it.
Oh, well, like water under the bridge, as you said earlier.
Yeah, it is, it is.
We'll try not to let that happen again.
Yeah.
if we rent it, I need to get numbers.
Does anybody else have any more questions for Mitch?
Mitch, you're doing a
Good job.
No, there wasn't none of this
Stay
said
out of the
against
sink,
you.
so stay out of the sink, yeah.
We'll say it anyway.
All right. Development and resource, Mr. Scott. This is a fine report.
Maybe y'all should have a copy of my report in front of you. Got a lot of visual aids tonight. First thing is the storm water. You know, I went through on that last big rain event we had, was, over 4 inches rain in 36 hours. We have water everywhere. Went through, took pictures of all the places that flood, and you can go through the pictures and kind of follow it through town, starting with Karen Circle going north.
This sums up our problem real well, doesn't it?
Right,
Yeah.
right. You see inside that circle on the second page is the box culvert that goes under the railroad tracks. It's really hard to see.
This is the same problem that we addressed with the engineer, city engineer, the last time I was on board.
This was what all that Karen Circle ditch
Yes,
was
yeah,
about down through there,
absolutely.
that went on for forever.
Absolutely.
But it's all overgrown and.
Yes.
When you get down in there, down there by the tracks, where that box culvert is, the water's pushed a lot of debris and stuff down there.
Yeah.
It's really stacked up, holding that water back.
So how could you go in there and get that debris out?
Well, this
Not-
ditch on
looks
right
like
here
this-
needs to be cleaned out.
Yeah.
One thing.
Yeah, because that would be,
Well, a lot of it,
Well-
it looks like, Chuck, for example, if I look at the box culvert under Clinton, there is no debris there. We've just got a bottleneck.
Yeah.
Right,
I
right.
mean, this obviously is where every other photo, water is rocking and rolling.
Right.
We've got a bottleneck there.
Right. Now, I think that bottleneck starts at the next to last page of the water. That's Steel Street there,
Uh-huh,
Yep.
right between Sterling Bank property and Kelly's property.
right.
And that's where it goes underneath 60 Highway. And you see all that growing up.
So essentially, some of the blowback's coming as much as 400 yards away at the next, at the crossing before the highway where it's just,
Right, right. You know, and you tell by these pictures that just, and the last one is on the north side of that 60 Highway where the water exits town. That water spreads out quite a bit.
That was the problem. When we did this,
Exactly.
we only went up to that culvert going under the railroad. We didn't do anything on the north side.
No.
right.
And I believe the engineers had said we have to be careful because we're responsible for what water damage is done on down the road
That's
from
right.
where we work on it.
Right.
they did.
And that was about as far as we could go with it. Isn't that right? Isn't that the way you remember that, Leslie?
Sounds,
Yeah.
This is Highway 60 here. Is it
Well,
not?
what we've done is
Yeah.
now we've just
This is
moved the
Steel
problem.
Street. I mean, it's the same problem.
Yeah,
It was never really taken care of.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying the source of the problem just moved.
Yeah.
well, it was flooding Karen Circle, you remember that?
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
it was flooding
Yeah.
So
Karen
that-
Circle, but it's still
Yeah.
flooding Karen Circle, not as much,
Not
but,
up in, but to their houses. or
Yeah.
anything like that.
yeah, it was coming up in some
Yeah,
of
their
them's
yard is
houses.
clear in the house.
It's not humanly possible to dig a ditch deep enough down through there to correct all the flooding down there when we get 4 inches of rain in 36 hours.
36 hours.
It's not gonna happen.
No, it's not.
Well, I made contact with Sterling Bank's property owner here.
Mhm.
That's the last picture. And I left half a dozen voicemails with him. Never got a call back.
He's been sick, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's been Bobby.
No,
No,
Sterling
Sterling.
too.
Sterling has. been-
Sterling, too.
I didn't know that.
I sent him a letter the first of the week.
Yeah.
Trying to get a
Which one?
response.
Oh,
Sterling.
North Street on this one? Is that
North
the one
from
you're
Steele's.
talking about?
title saying north from Steel Street to 60
Yeah.
Highway.
Yeah, Sterling
So that's his
Bank's
bottom.
property.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So him trying to get permission from him to clean that up.
I would think I would have jumped right on it, saying help.
I think that's where we ought to start, is get that mess cleaned up.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, possibly.
It's relatively inexpensive, you got a little bit of labor and diesel fuel to get that mess cleaned up.
Well, and we had talked about that potentially, Chuck, tell me if I'm wrong here, but after you ripped that out the last meeting, we talked about possibly looking at digging the ditch out. Or or putting a blade on it and kind of
Right.
creating a
Yep.
certain path.
Yeah, just finished path.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Be nice if we could have it concrete.
I think we even talked about potentially in the future, looking at that option even.
Yeah,
I mentioned in my letter if he'd be interested in selling that little strip to the city. I think in the future it would be a good investment to buy that little strip, clean it out, maybe concrete the bottom, put some riprap in there,
Mhm.
be done with it.
Yeah.
yeah. But then wouldn't they have the problem on the other side of the highway still?
As I
And it
Maybe
just
one
goes-
less problem.
have
Yeah,
understood,
that's true.
if that's the natural flow of water,
Yeah,
which it is, then there is no real liability. And if you look at the last photo, there's nothing over there to damage.
Right.
There is no real estate, or housing or anything over there.
no,
But
But
even if it is a natural flow, you get to jacking with it. you
and
get
it's gonna go
hard
somewhere
Yes.
else.
Because you're changing natural flow to, you're increasing it. So the people down, if you increase the flow going down there on the next guy and you cause damage on that was in the city's law.
And that was always Ottmeyer's deal.
Yeah.
That was that he didn't want to do too much to it.
Yeah, if you get too much flow down there, more than what naturally comes through there, you know, because you concreted it, you opened it up and everything else, it can come back on you.
this world's gotten to the point where if you handed someone a gold brick, they'd gripe it's too heavy.
Oh, yeah.
Give me one, I wouldn't.
You want to.
So do you think if you just cut the underbrush?
Just looking at
Well, I mean, it just cleans
the
it out.
history on our property.
Hmm.
I was looking at the history of our property, and it goes back to the 1800s, and it was classified as swamp property.
Oh, yeah, lots of this around here. Lots of this was.
Well, like Dan said, there's really nothing out there to damage.
Yeah, at
Gotta
present
get the
time,
water out of town.
I mean, if you, well, first of all, that land's on Majeri. I was looking at a plat on that, Gary Clyre.
Yeah.
Yeah, right there before it goes under the railroad tracks. Yeah.
See, that's why they put them big or them
Mhm.
big boulders right there at the end of that, to slow that water down to go underneath the railroad and
Mm-hmm,
the highway, because if they didn't slow that water down there, they was afraid they was gonna flood 60, or Clinton Street out. And it went underneath the railroad.
yeah. And it would.
Clean that out. Many times.
Well, I think your
Don't
solution's good, Chuck. Start by ripping all the brush out of there. Sterling Banks is fine with that. What do we do if Sterling Banks isn't fine with that?
And he may not be, you know.
Because he's, I guess we,
I
nothing.
wouldn't do anything until I got all
There's
the
not a lot you
Probably
can
a Paul
do.
question.
All question, I
I'd say
think,
that
yeah.
Sterling will sell it if you wanna pay the price.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Wanna
Yeah.
pay the price.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you wanna pay the
And
price.
you'll know you paid
Big
for
money.
it.
Yeah, you're right, big time.
I say clean it up and see what it does.
Yeah.
Yeah,
just-
yeah, I
yeah.
think
Mhm.
that
Because how many
seems a
times
natural
does it
solution.
rain like that? But in the morning it's odd, but
The next thing I've got is the playground. You see there, you have before and after on that, it's finally done.
that looks nice.
We've had-
So you got that all done?
It's all done, we've
I
had
was
kids
gonna
playing
go
in
down.
there, and
Does look
Looks
better.
good, looks good.
Looks a lot better. Hey, you even got you in that picture.
yeah, the shadow.
Your shadow.
Oh, I started saying, huh?
It turned out real nice, we got 12 inches of sea gravel in there, it's like being on the beach.
Really?
Yeah, it looks nice.
Mhm.
The last thing I've got is at our last safety
Let
meeting
me
I
see it
had,
better here.
Oh, yeah.
I always ask the guys if they got any questions or complaints or whatever, and they don't like the shirts. Those yellow collared shirts that we wear, from Ameripride, they hate them.
What yellow shirt?
I looked up the numbers
Don't
on
ever
it.
see 'em wear 'em.
It costs
Huh?
us
They don't wear
$1,580.28
I was gonna say,
a
I've
year,
never seen them.
and rental and laundry fees to supply them those shirts. They would much rather have t-shirts than sweatshirts to wear. I called half a dozen places, just got a ballpark on that, 5 t-shirts, 5 sweatshirts with city logo on it, $945. if we got on a 2-year rotation, get a new t-shirt, sweatshirt every 2 years, save the city $2,215.56.
Now, is that per person?
This looks like one of my little
Per
reports here,
person?
Jack. You got the numbers and everything. I'm impressed.
I covered all the outside workers.
Is this?
I mean, this is all of it together?
Yeah.
Okay, because it looked like it
Now,
was
on
per
the-
person.
On the t-shirts, do they wash those themselves or do they?
Yeah.
Themselves.
How quickly can we get out of the Ameripride contract? Immediately?
Bid on them ones like we
Yeah.
in Lansing.
We don't have to get out of it completely.
Or just for this component, I mean?
They just turn their shirts in and they keep their jeans.
Do we need any kind of approval to do that? Or, because that's something you can just do?
Toby just said, let him know, the Ameripride guy, said just let him
Just
know.
talk to him about it.
I'd say just do it.
Yeah, yeah, you don't need
Yeah.
a motion. You can do that, Mr. Sam.
$2,000, no
Yeah, you
brainer.
can do it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
We don't need a motion, do we? You
No,
can
I
do that.
don't think we need a motion. That falls under.
Yeah.
They'll still keep the jeans.
And their uniforms.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the electric guys still keep the FR stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
Yes,
have to have
yes.
that.
yeah.
Okay.
Good job, Chuck.
Yeah.
That's all I have. You have any questions?
Good job.
No?
I'm good. Great job. Well, now we have the Alderman's report. Jim, you want to start?
The only thing that I had involved the police, and there's no one's here. The last meeting, I brought it up to Scott about high school boys speeding down Garfield. And he's gone now, so,
I've got complaints about that too.
yes,
I have to.
yes.
all right.
Well, what they've done, they're doing a better job of watching the school over on Clinton Street.
Yep.
So the guys all went to the back road and took off through there as fast as they can.
Now they go down Garfield.
And now they go down Garfield.
Yep.
So anyway, we got some complaints if you can tend
And
to
the
it.
reports I'm getting are like, they're like getting it up to 60, 65
Yeah,
miles.
yeah,
an hour.
they're, it's dangerous down
Yes,
through there.
real dangerous.
They're coming out of the backside of that
They're
parking lot.
booking.
Okay.
Just, it's
I
high school
almost got
kids.
hit
And they're
once.
leaving school, they're just, I even said they act like they're racing.
Yeah, oh, they are, yeah.
Yep, and that stop sign, it might as well not be there because I passed by there one day and they didn't even stop until they got right up to me. Just hit their brakes.
Okay.
Especially that one lady, she really upset.
Yeah, she's very
Yes,
upset over it.
That's who's coming to me.
Yes.
Well, we'll all hear from the same sources.
Do you have them coming to you?
That's all I've got to
I
talk
Oh, yeah.
about.
Yeah.
You got anything, Mary?
do. Yeah. I had a gentleman, James Shelton, who lives at 404 North Division. He came to my house. He complained about his neighbor burning trash up against next to his house. They have a barrel, I guess, next to a fence, and they burn it. And he said one day the flames came up and it almost got his house. That's the same woman that I complained about last year. Instead of burning on the side she was burning on, now she switched it over to the other side. So they are still burning trash, and he said that some of the stuff that she burns, or they burn, is really smelly and it burns their eyes, and I know that's true because some of the stuff they used to burn when it came our way, they must have been burning wire or oil or something, because it was awful. You couldn't
Plastic will
stay
do that too,
outside.
Mary.
Yeah, well, you couldn't stay outside because of the smell.
Are they burning in a burn barrel?
Yeah, it's in a barrel.
They're just burning their trash.
They're burning their trash is what they're
Burning
doing.
trash.
And he said, they have big burns after they have a garage sale. Instead of taking it to, wherever,
Burning coal.
they just burn them.
That'll stay.
That stinks.
All we can burn is limbs and leaves, isn't it?
Well, you can burn correct me if I'm wrong, we can burn limbs or brush or something like that, but no trash.
No trash.
It's from 8 to 5 are the burning hours and not Saturday or Sunday.
And sent them a letter and all kinds of things, but I'll get back on that.
Yeah.
And when it's happening, they just have them call the police.
Yeah.
Well,
Like, when
he's
it's
called
in
them
pro-
before, and I guess they got a little nasty with him.
Well, that's not good.
The police did.
Yeah. Yeah. Because he has called them numerous times on this, and nothing gets done.
And they got mouthy with John? Really?
Yeah, that's what he said. That's what his brother told me too.
Well, there was only one person that answered the phone
Huh?
over
Oh,
there. He
I'm
didn't
not-
work
well,
here.
he's
I wasn't
not
gonna
doing
say
it now,
anything.
'cause I'm watching too. He's not doing it now. Let's see. Oh, did you, contact, Mr. Hayes on the beehives?
Yes,
Did we
ma'am, I
get
did.
that settled?
Yes, and he's perfectly okay with changing the ordinance.
Great, great. Does anybody know, how Mike Gerke is after the
He's
accident?
home. I went to see him last night, and he'd been checked out the day before, so
Okay,
he's
okay.
home. I know Jim went to see him.
Yeah,
He was still in the hospital. Was that Saturday?
That was Saturday.
yeah.
Right.
That was
So I
Saturday.
went last night, and he had checked out either on Monday evening or Tuesday.
He called.
Yeah.
he
It's
called me
gonna be a
Tuesday
slow
evening.
go
He's just
before
getting
before he
out.
gets over
Okay,
this.
Tuesday.
It's gonna be a slow
Yes, it
go to
will
get
be.
over this.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
And just in case anybody hadn't know, he fell and he broke
yeah.
Broke
I
3
know.
ribs, punctured a
Punctured a
lung,
lung.
and cracked his spine.
Mhm.
Wow.
So, and I've got, the trailer over on Garfield. Where are we on that, or are we going to do anything on it, or?
It's on the list that the P and Z group is putting together for us. They're gonna prioritize that list as far as I'm supposed to work on them. And I know that's being worked on because I'll call this week and ask about a camera and taking pictures and that kind of stuff, so I know that's
Yeah.
being worked on.
I think the guy building our list is sitting on the front row.
Oh, okay, I didn't see you.
No,
Sorry.
he just snuck in.
Yes, it is. It is on the list.
Were we gonna be able to do anything until
list?
the budget?
We have a
Till we
list.
appropriate the
They
money
have
for the
our
budget?
list, and we'll make it
The
up.
planning
Well, I
and
think
zoning
that's
committee?
That's something I'd like to talk about.
Okay.
When I get to my spot.
Okay, okay,
Yes.
okay. And, good pictures of the skating rink.
I thought that really, picture says 1,000 words.
It did, it did, it did, but it looks prettier than it actually looks.
He took the wrong
I should have
side.
done the backside
Yeah,
of the
You
doors
should have
open.
done the backside, yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yes. And that's all I have.
Okay.
Well, I was gonna ask about the bees and the old city hall. We talked about that.
Yeah.
Oh, did Roger sign the agreement to buy the Taco Bell?
The land.
Yes.
The land.
I think I heard so.
I have not been told by Roger. I can tell you that the signs are no longer out there. It's for sale signs.
Oh, the for sale sign.
Yeah,
It was supposed to happen last Friday, as I understood it.
yeah, right. And I've talked to him a couple of times this week, but he has not mentioned that.
When will we start putting the utilities in?
We're gonna talk about that tonight.
Okay,
Club.
I'm just getting ahead of,
No, that's okay.
And I've
Go
had
ahead.
3 people come in about their electric bills being so high. When will the electric committee meet again?
I'm not sure, since the president has resigned.
But, yeah, I had 3 people come in this week.
Well, I think that if we're on that topic, and it's nice that we've got Mr. Miller here, in talking to Dan Cisco from Seymour, the new GM, Dan made it real clear to me that when they do rate studies, they use none other than Toth and Associates. So I think we need to definitely start exploring the fact of allowing Toth and Associates to conduct a rate study.
Right. And I've talked to him this week about that. We've got,
Oh.
we're gonna meet together and talk about it. And I also you know, you were asking the city council what they wanted on the budget. What Sam wants from the city is that I want the rate study done, so that's gonna be my request to try to get that done during the budget time. I don't know, we haven't talked about a price yet, but that's something we really do need to get done.
I'll tell you what, I'm certainly not against a rate study, but we need to decide before we have it done if we're gonna pay attention to it.
Yeah.
I agree. The one from 2012 was ignored.
It was ignored. If they come back, people are complaining about their electric bills. If they come back and tell us we need to raise electric rates, are we willing to do it?
I most certainly am. I'll follow what the study says.
I don't want mine high.
Bottom line is this.
I don't either,
this
but
is-
I'm just saying, it's just foolish to spend the money if
It
we're not
is
willing.
foolish to spend the
if we're
money
not
if
willing
we're
to pay
not
any
gonna
attention to
follow
it.
through.
Well, how long has it been since the rates were raised?
2012.
Yeah, 6 years.
6 years.
And there's
Water
supposed to be
rates
raised.
haven't been raised since 1979.
What's it called?
Man,
that
see,
rate?
so, it sounds like to me it's
The
a
extra
time for it,
TA,
but
is it?
gonna make some folks mad.
There were stipulations in the last rate study, rates,
People's gonna be
you
moving
know,
out
throughout
the house if you pay
every
their bills.
so often. And as was said already, that was ignored and not done, so.
I mean, just to give you an idea of how our utility rates stack up, and this is without saying too much, but Sam and I met for more than 3 hours this morning with a prospective employer in this community, large employer. We stacked up a city utility bill against this employer, and our rates are better than that he's paying. He's in an industrial zone that kowtows and caters to it, and we're lower. Our rates are not too high here. They are too
Why
low.
is people complaining? Yeah, they are
Because, no, they're not complaining.
Yes, they are.
Compared to what?
In an inefficient home,
Compared to what
yes.
people makes.
Well, but compared to what we can buy electricity for, compared to what you can run but you can't hide.
Well, to me, they've never been that high.
Huh?
Seen those rates are 8 cents.
And ours is 12. That's a lot of difference.
That's a cooperative, guys. That's apples and oranges.
Absolutely.
Compare our rates to city utilities, which is a comparable. City utilities is higher, no, that's not right. That's not right, David.
Well, people
Our-
didn't used to
our-
complain like this.
Well, it's the biggest thing.
I don't
can look-
remember a
I can
time when
point out
people didn't
houses
complain
in
about their
town
electric
here
bill.
that are just energy eaters. That's one of the biggest problems here is that people are not practicing proper conservation with their utilities.
Oh, we don't think they are anymore.
They're using electric heat through their homes.
No, I know two's got electric heat, they're not using it.
I go back to my
guarantee.
question. If we have a rate study, are we gonna willing to pay attention to it?
I answered your question, yes.
Yes, you did.
I guess,
Yes.
at least people will know we did do a rate study.
What has, and I know their final deal isn't done yet, but what, the Utilities Commission, what have they accomplished, or where are they
They
at?
haven't accomplished anything. The president has resigned. I've talked to Bruce Denny, and he said that unless they get some specific direction from the board, there's really not anything for them to do. And so that was the last conversation I had with him.
So what do we want to do? What do we want to do with the Utilities Commission?
Well, if we're willing to let this gentleman do a study, why don't we dissolve it?
Well, we wanna know how much it's gonna cost.
Well, we're not to the cost yet.
Yeah,
think the
right,
last
I
one was
understand.
20,000, and that was several years ago. I mean, we're probably, why I'm talking about putting it in the budget, it's gonna be $30,000 or more to have a utility study. I'm just guessing, but
I think if we could just anyway do away with that fuel supply charge,
we can't
people.
do that.
We would lose money on utilities if we eliminated that.
Yeah, I think that was
That's part of
talked
your
about
electric
before,
price.
somewhere around
That's correct.
80,000 or
Plus,
something.
it's subsidizing our usage like at the sewage treatment plant. My God, take a look how much kilowatt usage we have there. It's to keep our water clean. Somebody has to pay for that. If you
We
look at-
do.
Yeah, well, if you look at the profit margin of our utility, if you pull out a city's financial statement, you compare it to other cities with utilities, our electric department runs on a thinner margin than any other small town our size. I mean, we're making about a 12% net ballpark average over the last 3 years. Most small towns are making 20. And we've made that small net without heavy infrastructure improvements. That's not good. Rolling forward, as even, but it's kind of like having a steel plant, steel factory and not upgrading your equipment ever. I mean, only this year is the first year, and when was the last time we made widespread purchase of coals, Mitch, before this year?
I don't think we did.
Yeah, 3 or 4 years ago. So that's the point, and we've got a lot more to do, and that's, you don't
Right,
right.
right.
And how do you pay for them when you're netting 12% with no infrastructure? It's just math.
I get a lot of complaints, all I know.
Well, I think that those complaints, I'm not complaining. I live in a home. I use a lot of power.
Yeah, you got good income.
Yeah, and my
I have
utility,
too, and I'm not
and Leslie
complaining.
could pull mine up. My utility
Yeah.
bill last month was $77.
$77.
That's correct.
Well, there's only one of them.
I have a ground source heat pump. I have an efficient home. But the point is that I also practice energy conservation.
So do
I
we.
turn my lights off and, are your bills super high, Mary?
Nope.
Okay, well, there you go.
Mine.
We turn things off.
That's right.
Right.
And,
That's right.
and I hang a lot of clothes
And
outside.
therein lies the biggest problem with the chronic utility gripers. I mean, the second highest utility bill in town is Kirk Penner's.
Yeah.
He's not down here griping. I don't have Eric Taylor coming in here from Price Cutter griping. No one from Hutch is coming in here griping.
Well, I wouldn't either. They've got, how much are they paying for their?
Well, they're
how
not
much a
industrial,
kilowatt?
right?
Well, right.
But they're using a heck of a lot of it. I mean,
Right.
I just don't see that our rates, they're not out of line. They just aren't. We had a chart in here in a meeting that you pulled out, I don't know, 4 months ago or so, Sam. It had you can look at it, it's in chart form. We're lower than everybody but Seymour. And they're getting it straight. They're a taxpayer subsidized entity by the federal government, essentially. You know, we can't get it at their price. They're probably paying 3 cents for it.
But they're not paying what we're using the money for, or part of the money for either.
Right,
You got it.
right.
That's right, Mitchell. Yeah, they don't have city streets to maintain, or police department, or, you know. Jim's question, I think, is super valid. And it's, if we are gonna get a rate studies done, I agree with him. Are we going to follow it? Yes,
Well, It would be silly to pay all that money,
that's right.
Exactly.
like the last time. That was just money down the drain.
Well, it's kinda like when you go to the dentist and they tell you you need a root canal, and you get all the prep work done for it, and you don't
Then
get it
you
done.
don't have it.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
it's the same
I'm
thing.
aware.
I think that if we are gonna spend that kind of money, then whatever they come back and tell us, we're gonna have to do. Because this was done in 2012, and it was not followed. You can look at it, and you can look at our rates,
Yeah.
and they suggested rates that had we implemented them, we'd be in a lot better financial situation.
And I think the actual rate to start with is supposed to be higher than what they,
That's true. Yeah, higher than the 545
yeah.
that we're paying now. Well, I guess you asked the question, Jim, but for roll calling the question, I would say yes, I will follow what the study says.
Yeah, I will too.
Okay?
Yeah, I mean,
Well, but we're not voting.
Well, no, I'm just, see what, he's just doing he's doing a verbal, he wants a verbal
Right.
yay or nay.
But you kind of throw these things on us that you.
Oh, I had
this
no,
never crossed my
I know what you're doing.
I had no
know your
idea
little
that this was
tricks.
coming up.
Yeah, I know your little.
We're on your
tricks.
discussion point, this is your part of the Alderman's report.
I know
It's not
how
on me or him.
Well, I'm just telling, we're just voting if we would raise it. We're not voting it to get it done.
No, I'm just, he's
Okay.
wanting to know if we had the
Okay.
rate study,
Right.
a sign of hands or a wink, or would you follow the study? And I'm saying, I will.
Will I?
I don't think we
No.
should do it unless we are going to
Right.
Thank you,
follow.
Mary.
right.
I agree with that.
Very good. Good
Because it's a
decision.
lot of money.
We either do it or we don't,
Right.
or we don't do it.
Are you done, Nadine?
No, I'm saying no. Probably wouldn't.
You're saying no.
I'm not gonna lie.
You won't follow it?
Why would I probably wouldn't, so I'm just being honest.
She said, are you finished?
Am I finished?
Are you finished with
No,
your
she's
report?
got more on her list. I can
No,
see.
I-
Well, don't you think that since we've got it now, we should at least have a recommendation from the Utilities Commission?
For what
For-
it should
for
be.
what?
Well, let's
Well, I
see,
don't
let's hear
know.
what
We
they've got to say. We've had this commission, they've worked on it. What do they recommend?
Well, I got a copy of that. She emailed that to all of us, didn't you, Les?
No.
No,
No, I
it
didn't
was
I
just
get,
didn't get it.
It
oh,
was-
I've got a copy of their
Minutes,
minutes.
that's all I said. Yeah, that's all I'm
Of their
saying,
minutes,
minutes.
but they
But the minutes
haven't,
asked us just a bunch of questions.
but they haven't recommended anything. That's
Oh, no.
what I'm saying. If we're gonna learn anything about our Utilities Commission, or about our utility rates, I don't know how we're gonna do it without having a study done.
Well, and he was gonna be surprised, right?
Mhm.
Who is? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So what are we voting on? Let's make clear what we're.
Well,
Nothing.
we're not.
right
No,
now.
We're
We're
not.
just talking. No.
We're just talking. Want to know if you will abide by what his study
Probably
says.
not.
Well, there you have it.
So I get mine.
So I'm guessing he's good with it, she'll probably be good with it, and so it'll be three
Well, I
against
don't think
one.
we
and-
should do it. I don't think we should do it unless we're gonna follow it. That's just
That's right.
throwing money away.
That's right. I'll be for it.
That's all I've got.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay.
I got a couple. of
You're
things.
up then.
Well, I'm sure.
Oh, boy.
No, I got no handouts.
Oh, you have no
No.
handouts?
One question I have is, and maybe this has happened before me, have we ever thought about taking the west side of commercial here and turning that into parallel parking?
Well, I've had a lot of
We have got a
suggestions
real
on that, yeah.
Problem.
I was paying attention to the buses the other day, it hit me. And I mean, it is a jagged nightmare there.
Yeah, it is.
Moreover,
Agree on that.
in this town, that's probably the place where I've almost had the most accidents.
Yeah, and I did.
Right
Um,
here. Tell me who
And
it is.
I mean, keeping the pull-in parking like we have here and right in front of the building,
Yeah,
but then paralleling
across the street.
across the street on the west side.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's feasible. Sam, do you have an opinion on this?
Well, we've
We've
talked
talked
about it in
about
the
that.
past, but we
Yeah,
didn't
it's
do
been
it.
talked about.
But yes,
Ha-
Do you think it would be a good idea?
yes, you're right. When the buses come through here, and even bigger trucks, I mean, they have a heck of a time getting through here.
How far north did you have in mind?
You know,
As far as
say,
the
you
sidewalk.
know, at the end of Apple Agency?
Yeah, 3 or 4 parking lots or just a few there would be fine, but I'm sure the laundromat wants plenty of
Yeah,
parking.
that
And what I'm
laundromat,
saying, that would cure the
well,
problem
it
down here.
doesn't
I'm saying,
Yeah,
interfere with
yeah.
this up
come
here
with the
though.
laundromat
Yep,
or anything
Right.
north of that, but starting at, say, well, this little alley here that's by the
Right.
Apple Agency, perhaps starting there.
Uh-huh, and
Because the
coming this
bottleneck
way.
occurs at the intersection.
Right.
But from that point on, going to parallel.
I think that'd be.
I think it'd be a good
Yeah,
idea.
I do too.
Okay.
As Sam says, we've talked about
You
that.
can certainly get it done. As long as I've got the okay, we can knock it out.
You're gonna have to do some more striping then. I'm sorry to bring that up.
I'm not gonna say that.
Would the business kind of complain about the fact they're gonna lose
Yeah, but
3 or
there,
4 parking places?
there's
in
no
front of their
business
business?
over here.
Well, there's no businesses there,
Not right now.
It's
Right.
just empty
The
buildings.
idea is fill those buildings,
right?
and if you put one parking place in front of your building, you kind of remove the desirability of having the building.
Mhm.
Right.
Well, I see what you're saying, David. I haven't done a count, but I can do it right now from looking through the window. It looks like there's about 7 spaces there now in that area I'm talking about.
Yeah,
If we parallel parked it, I'm gonna guess we'd go to 4.
yeah.
Probably 3.
3, okay, then I'll say
Maybe.
3. I don't know that 4 parking spaces is as big a deal because people can't go around the corner and there's ample parking down Market Street, which is got pull-in spots.
Well,
Yeah.
question.
Huh?
When they restriped the streets last year,
Uh-huh.
how much trouble did we get into?
Huh?
They had to restripe them twice for the parking places.
Right.
What is the
Was it
cost?
last year or the year before?
Last year, wasn't it?
2 years ago.
No, it was 2 or 3 years
Can we do
ago.
it without any
2 or 3 years
problems?
ago, I'm not sure.
What is your point, David?
Well, I mean, you know, you're gonna lose parking places now. You're all making a decision, and then you're gonna get the feedback afterwards, after you do the job. And then
Okay.
you're gonna have to go out and restripe again,
Maybe.
like you did a couple of years ago.
I think that was a
Jump
little
in,
different.
made it-
Wasn't there some
made a
kind of
change.
ruling?
Well, I think that what the problem, I see what David's saying. The problem on the square was that there was a net loss of spaces. And then what happened was it was restriped, was there was a little bit of a gain, was there not, Chuck? Because I know you kind of run the striping crew, per se. So when you restriped, you added some spaces. You were following state guidelines and doing.
Exactly, that's,
Then we went back to Seymour
When we
guidelines.
had the
Yeah.
blank canvas,
Yeah.
so,
So, but I see what you're saying, there was griping because of a net loss of spaces. However, if I remember right, some of the griping was, well, it was business owners on the square that were
Right,
upset
right.
about the net loss of spaces. You lost some
Exactly.
spaces, okay. There are no businesses here losing spaces.
Now,
Not now, you're right, but I'll
you're
say this.
discouraging them from coming.
Cake Baby's building has been empty now for, I think, 6 years.
and this one is forever.
This one, Lucille's old building, well, the
No,
Janet
that-
Abbey
yeah.
spider hole there, I wouldn't go in there with a mask. The next one up is the building that Larry Chapin recently just sold.
Oh,
It's used for nighttime classes or something.
That's been
It's-
out for a long time.
It's not retail. And then the next one's the Apple Agency, and that's been on the market for almost a year now. I mean, I don't know that there's a humongous, is the 4 parking spaces, what we gain is, I think, a lot of public safety.
The guy that bought the 2 buildings,
Uh-huh.
I know, you know, he has some ideas of what he's gonna do with them, he's been working on it. And Buzz gonna put a couple new water services in there to him. It might not hurt to talk to him, you tell him what he's gonna do before.
Yeah, if he's gonna fix that up,
Sure, because he's wanting to put
yeah.
a couple of.
Run an ad in the paper.
he's mentioned putting a restaurant
Yeah.
brewery in there.
Yeah, he talked to me about that.
A restaurant and
Yeah.
brewery?
Oh, I don't know about the brewery, but yeah, he talked to her.
He's gonna need a liquor license.
Yeah, sure is.
Huh,
'Cause he's bought a
that would be
fancy
interesting.
door from France.
Well, I guess one of the things that I can get, you know, let me do this. One of the problems that people have with government is that government's slow. Government sometimes sees something and you know, there's a problem with it, but there's always a long time to implement change, whether we're contacting the lawyer to find out if it's legal to do this, and it seems like we wait all the time.
Yep.
And I think the things we've been successful in are the things we've done right here now. We're gonna do it, let's do it.
Well, no, I really think we need to talk to him though, to see what his plans are, because we wouldn't wanna knock him out of putting a business.
Well,
No,
how would reducing 4
I don't
parking
know.
spaces knock him out of putting a
But-
business in there?
But what would it hurt to talk to him? I mean, before we just jump and do it.
who is he?
Oh, I've met him, he's from what, Alaska, he's from Alaska. I mean, sometimes you wanna jump in the hot fire before it gets hot. I mean, I think we should, at least talk to him.
Hey, okay, let's say he says, nope, I want 7 spaces in front of that place, so we gonna stop that now? Well, he doesn't own the street for the parking spaces.
Did he buy all those buildings?
No, he bought one.
The one on the
He owns
corner?
2 of them. He bought that one first.
Oh, well, yeah, I'm saying, what did he?
He
just
he
buy?
bought Larry's and this one here,
He
right?
owns Jan
Then he owns,
Jan
yes,
So he owns
So-
2 buildings.
yeah.
So the people
That have
still
nothing
own
in them.
baby
Well,
cakes?
no, right now, but they said he was, did you say
He's
he's
been working on them.
been working on them?
Same people still own baby cakes?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
He tried to buy it.
No, I know he tried to buy it and they wouldn't sell it.
Yeah.
Well, it's an awful price they asked him.
Well, they
But
are.
what's gonna hurt is to wait a little bit longer. Maybe Sam or
I
somebody
think,
could get a
I
hold
think
of
we
him.
should give him a courtesy call.
Well,
I
yeah.
really do.
Okay,
Especially he's got 2 buildings.
whatever.
And he may not have a problem with it, you know?
Right, yeah.
That's up to you guys, whatever you want me to do, I'll do.
Jim? I mean, he's invested into buildings.
Well, I know if I were a business person and I invested in a building and was going to put a business in, and I see the parking the way it is, I think I'd want to be consulted if it was going to change. I mean, I agree with you, it needs to be
Right.
done, but I'm just thinking about what he would say. I mean, I think we ought to get his input.
And,
Okay, even if we get his input, we don't have to abide by
well,
it.
No,
Well, would it help any to just make that last space down there, no parking, for people to come around the corner? Would that help any?
I don't think so.
Not really, because,
No.
no, I
So
was
narrow
parked
right
here
there
when
at
that
the
guy
end.
pulled over in
And
Jiminy.
you're dealing with, how long's the school bus? 60 minutes?
Yeah,
That's,
I wouldn't wanna put parallel parking over here because of the old folks that we have.
Right.
That come park here.
right.
You mentioned one way at one time.
We
One
did-
way?
We also mentioned one time making the street one way.
Yeah,
Oh, please don't do that.
Well, just saying, I'm just saying.
It cut down on the big trucks that are the problems.
Yeah, cut down on trash trucks too.
Yeah. Yeah. I will contact the guy and see if he has a problem, but if that's what you guys want me to do.
well, just tell him, whether it's a potential hazard,
Yeah, just tell him what we're gonna do.
or just tell him what we plan to do.
Okay. I can do that also.
No, I just get
Or I
his
can just go
input.
out there and do it.
I just get his input.
I don't have any
and see
problem
what he
making parallel parking and stuff.
How about this side and have the employees park somewhere else? Make this side. Does that help it any?
That would open that up a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then just, have us park, across the street or
Yeah.
the side.
Linda's not opening it down here.
Yeah.
So that's where I park. I park out.
Yeah, I see Sam
Yeah.
Park's way up there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Sam.
And,
But
I noticed
that's
that.
because we have so many older
A little
folks.
bit more downgraded though.
Linda was at, so.
Well, why couldn't we try that, like, the employees park across the street and see how that kind of works out? What do you think about that?
having what?
maybe employees park across the street.
Versus
And
changing
if-
this to parallel parking, is that what you're saying?
Well, and see how.
No,
it goes.
make this side parallel parking, or is that, does that help at all? No?
No.
No,
No, not at all.
it gets more that side.
I do think the
Well, the
employees,
bu- it's
I think it'd be a good
busier
idea for the
over
employees to
here.
park like that, I don't have a problem with that.
It's
Because
busy.
you're leaving more closer spaces available for this brand new business that's coming over here,
Well, hey,
that
give it a
doesn't
chance.
exist yet.
Well,
Yeah.
give it a chance, come on, don't be
Okay.
negative.
I'm not, but a brewery's gonna work real well on the square.
Well, we don't. know if
Not
that
here
works
yet.
very well. I don't
Just pretty simple, they get a lot of business.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard anything about brewery, but it could be, I don't know.
I could fill a notebook full of out-of-state building buyers that were gonna do grand things, and the list of accomplishments at my current tally would be 0.
Yeah.
Well, it's been like this how long? A little bit longer, something.
Okay.
Come on, lighten it
Well, that's fine. I don't have anything else.
Nothing else. Well, is everybody done?
Yep.
All right, well, I believe we,
I make a motion, we go to executive session.
up. I'll second.
all in favor?
Yep.
Motion carried.
Just be a roll call,
Oh, we need a roll call.
yeah. Jim Ashley,
Yep.
Mary Carpenter.
Yep.
Meeting Chris.
Yes.
Dan Winger.
Meeting adjourned.